Man, let me get into some questions. I appreciate you already. I know Lady Sue. Shout out to Lady Sue. She got a couple questions here. So yeah, salute. This is Hip Hop Breath New York. We're here sitting with a living legend. Buckwild, thank you for taking the time to be here.
Man, bless up, man. We still here. That's what it is. You know, thank you for having me.
Thank you. For anybody that's been living on a rock, if you don't know, you should know, but if you don't know, Buckwild is a part of Digging in the Crates crew and has produced some of our most favorite hip hop records, including classics with Biggie, Nous, Jay-Z, Fat Joe, and my favorite Big L song, Put It On. I'm from up there, so that's why my favorite joke. I'm from 3/5 and Lennox.
Oh,
so I
man,
grew up in that piece of, you know what I mean? So I appreciate you for that. But let's start by talking a little about your beginnings. You were born in the late 60s in the Bronx. What was it like in the Bronx?
I was born in Harlem.
You was born in Harlem?
Yeah.
Stop it, son. I didn't know that. I got you. Listen, Harlem all day. Harlem in the building. Listen, you get something through.
But I'm not gonna lie. I claim the Bronx because we moved there when I was young.
Okay.
Probably about 6 years old.
Where in Harlem would you claim though? You was born in Harlem. Where in Harlem?
We 120th and St. Nick.
Okay, listen. You right around the way. Yeah, I'm 3/5 legs. Okay.
Yeah.
Respect. So how was growing up in the Bronx? What was the music landscape in the 70s, the 80s?
It was the early hip hop that everybody see on TV with the break-in.
Okay.
And you know, the graffiti. It was the beginning of hip hop.
Right.
And for me, like, I latched onto that early because like my brother used to go to park jams.
Okay.
And when I was young, I used to be able to hit a park jam from the projects from my window. So I could roll my own project window like Nas had. You know, because I'm sitting there and it's like I used to take a little boombox radio my mom's bought me. You know, because ever since Yay High was always in the music, like I didn't really get a lot of toys. I got like a lot of records.
Okay.
And I would try to take the park jam. I'm like, oh, I can hear it, so the radio can hear it.
Right.
And when I would record it, then I get to the next day, I'd be like, damn, this shit is weak. I can hear all the truck noise, but I don't really hear the music. The music is real low. So a lot of that was my early introduction till I came from the window and came outside, and the older cats knew that I could DJ.
Okay.
When they seen that, they tossed me a milk crate. I stood on a milk crate, and it's like I was DJing in a center in St. Luke's.
That's what's up. So you started with a DJ. I didn't know that either. First
Yeah.
the DJ.
Elementary school.
Okay.
And I did that until maybe before high school and got bored with DJing.
Okay.
You know, because growing up in it, when I'm seeing people like, you know, Native Tongues, Jungle Brothers, and all these other people, and I'm like, wow, you know, Ham Rock Him, you know, I know, you know, I got soul, and I heard that, and I'm like, man, I could do this, man. I had that record. I can loop this up.
Right.
But where I'm gonna get $2,200 for a sample, for a sampler, you know? But it's like I had the records, I had the ideas, I had the know-how, I had the knowledge of the samples, but I just didn't have everything else. So by the time when high school came, I kind of let that dream go.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah. You know.
Okay.
And you know, it was short-lived though, man. But I still was a fan of hip hop.
Right.
Thanks to people like Marley Marl, etc., you know, Pete Rock, Red Alert. And I just didn't have the one important thing, which was the sampler and the network.
Right.
The network is very important because it's like, if you don't have the network, where you going with it?
Right. Very true.
So that was that. That was short-lived. And from there, you know, got out of school. I went to school. It was a lot of people. We all went to the same school, but I don't know if we all saw each other in passing. I remember Sean Price was there.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Okay. Rest in peace, Sean Price, man.
Tech and Steel, they was in the house too. Craig G definitely was. I remember Craig. Like he was young. And looking, it was so many faces, but it's like, if I could look now and be like, oh, that's Craig G. Yeah, you need to talk with him and get his number.
Right.
You know, maybe like with that I could probably did something, but we was young kids from uptown. Like my homie, he was from 40th and not Lennox, 7th.
7th. Right.
Yeah,
That's one
so,
over here.
Even looking at him one day, you know, we kind of got robbed outside the school. We got jumped by Deceps.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you know, it's all cool, but like I say, when you look at it, hindsight being 2020, like looking and seeing how we could have networked and made some things happen.
Right.
But we wasn't thinking about doing that thing. We was trying to do this thing, which will put money in your pocket.
Right.
So after that, man, it's like, you know, when I got out of the school, I went to school in the Bronx Regional. I stopped that, then it's like, my mom was like, yo, you know, you gotta graduate. What you doing with your life? You know how parents are. And I was like, yo, you know what? I'm going to night school 5 days a week.
Okay.
I'm going to summer school. I had a full-time job as a student.
Right.
You know, so I did that just so I could graduate and it helped the P's hard. I had got a little part-time job, then it turned into a full-time job working in a supermarket. From there, working in a supermarket, I started making mixtapes. Like, one of the homies, his girl was, you know, and I hate to say it and put it out there, but she used to work for the post office, and she got me my first set of 1200s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it fell off the truck.
Okay, well, shouts to you. Thank you. Listen,
know,
without you...
that's the helpful of the start. That's what I say, being blessed. So they say count your blessings, so you look and you see the angels that come around and assist you for you to do what you do.
Right.
You didn't get there by yourself. I didn't spend $600-700 on techniques back there by myself to, you know, to DJ.
Right.
And from there, everything kind of moved along. You know, I started making mixtapes. I got good with it. I started getting a little buzz. You know, I was getting my mixtape sold in Rock'n'Roll on 125th. Lord Finesse was getting his shit sold there too. One day I couldn't.
Where's this on 125th? What's up?
Rock'n'Roll.
Rock'n'Roll. Okay, right. Shout out to that's you threw it back right there.
Yeah.
I was gonna say as well. So at this point, you
and JJ Variety.
Okay, so there's a couple spots that had your mixtapes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're growing the buzz out.
Like back then, the network of DJs was close knit. Like, and a lot of us, we shared a lot of things.
Okay.
So I look and it's like the tape that S had when he got into a situation with Tretch and I'm bugging because I thought, and I looked at the blessing, I was like, damn, man, we had the same tape. But the blessing is, when he had the altercation with Tretch that could have been me, because looking at it, we had the same thing and I didn't give him what he needed, and my tape would have been the one everybody was buzzing about like crazy, then I could have had the static.
Okay, so that was a whole miscommunication.
Yeah, but...
Break that down a little bit. So it was just basically miscommunication.
Yeah, for him, yeah, but I looked at it and it's like, he was like, yo, you made your tape. I see you got all of this stuff. You got Naughty album. You got this album. You got that. You got the Wu-Tang shit. You got this. And I was like, yeah, you need that? He was like, yeah, I need all of that. So I gave him everything. Anything he needed. He had some songs because when I needed, he was like, yo, you know, oh yeah, I got the Kane album. I got this album. He would share with me.
Right. So
like we always DJing, but we shared what we had.
Right.
Because it's like, okay, cool, we all can eat, and it's like we all personalities, so
right.
People buy for the personality as well as the songs.
That's a fact.
So we never looked at it like, yo, I don't want to see you make it. I want to see you make it.
Right.
So here, take this.
I could appreciate that. It seems like, especially how you describe it, there's camaraderie, it's brotherhood.
Yeah, it's still like that.
And it's
like,
good, man, because a lot of,
we all older, but my man J-Mo from Showtime, like, Chill Will, all these dudes who were DJs, we all still pretty tight. We see each other and it's like it's all love.
Right.
Kid Capri, I met Kid Capri the same way, and Capri showed me mad love. Okay,
great. And that's what you like to hear, man.
Yeah.
The temperature I feel is a little different with younger people and younger artists, but the brotherhood of artists and camaraderie of making music should be a little stronger. So I can appreciate hearing about that.
Yeah, so I look and the people who came before me, you know, it's a blessing because it's like, people sometimes be like, yo, why are you the way you are? Yo, I got assisted by a lot of people. You know, so when I look, it's like my blessings, I want to continue to carry blessings and pass them on.
Respect.
So when I do things, it's not just for the fact of, you know, I'm trying to see something good happen for me. But nah, you know, I think I know what it's like not to have or not to be able to do.
Right.
So if I pass this on to you, maybe you could pass that blessing on to somebody else.
Definitely.
You know?
Definitely. I appreciate it. I wish I could hear more of it. I can't even think of another example. If I spoke to somebody with your resume in hip-hop, with everything you've done, still be just humble and say, you know, listen, I'm just trying to pass blessings. So that's really what it's about. If I could give that energy back to somebody.
I know my man Rook is like that from Justice League.
Okay.
You know, like, it's a lot of cats who are like that. And you'd be surprised because they are like, yo, and I could say this, like, a lot of us are urban kids from nothing.
Right.
So when we have things and we see it and we see somebody who you can't help everybody.
Right.
But even if you help a few people, you're like, yo, you know what, here, you know, why don't you just try this?
Right.
Yo, here's a drum machine, you know, try your luck at beats.
Right.
I think you might have
change your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who look out, you know, and it's the matter just even with that. Like, from mixtapes I met Puff. You know, so even for him putting us on to Mary,
Right, Mary J. Blige record.
Mary songs early because that's how Mary blew up.
Right.
Puff was smart because he had all the mixtape DJs right here in the pocket.
So you got the people that's gonna spin it.
You didn't need radio.
Right.
You was getting radio anyway, but you got the early version which made radio pay attention because everybody knew who and what it was.
Okay.
Like, so looking like people, they don't give him enough credit. Like sometimes people are like, yo, you know, they don't know him, so they talk smack about him. Like
Diddy now.
About Diddy, yeah.
Right. He's a very elusive guy. Not everybody, like I said, we don't know him, so it's like, yeah. People,
it's easy to judge. So
yeah.
when you look, people are like, oh man, you know, Rob is messed up right now. He should be taking care of him. He is. He's been taking care of Rob since Rob came home.
Oh really?
Yeah.
So, and you know, if you don't know,
you
can assume. Yeah. So it's like, and that's good to hear as well. Yeah, that's good to hear as well.
Like I say, for a lot of people, they're genuinely good people, and it's like, you don't become a billionaire by not blessing people.
Right.
So you gotta do something. You gotta always give back. And he's like looking at it like, yo, you know, even when the Locks wanted to get off Bad Boy, and you look at it,
right.
And for him to still be cool with the Locks, and it's like, even though they want it off, but it's like they tell it, they like, yo, you know, we learn certain things. We men now, we not the boys that was signing Bad Boy.
Right.
So they took the lesson that they had, like, yo, you know, we can learn something from him.
Right.
Let's learn what we can. And when you got that type of big bro, where it's like that has these experiences that can show you, I think that these things are amazing that you can go and you can do. Because even for them, they go and do the same thing. Like, C's has always been with Big, so when you see Biggie, you seen little C's.
Right.
Now when you see Jadakiss, you see little C's.
Right.
So this shows you where their heart is and how pure, like, some of the people are.
Right.
You know,
it's
you
genuine.
can't help everybody, but hey, you know what? Big was my man. I love that nigga. Let me make this right.
Right.
Because I remember telling
Respect.
C's, like, yo, if you need something, yo, let me know.
Right.
Because, like, ain't no way said, like, Big is my man and I got love for Big and I don't got love for Lil C's.
Right.
You know, if you love Big,
that's genuine, yeah.
If you love Big, you love Lil C's.
Right.
Because that's his little man. Like his little brother, so.
Right.
And to see them do that, I'm like, yo, you know what? We constantly have role models that show us how to act. If we don't know what to do,
right,
show us who we could be and show us how we could do it.
Right.
So I look, even like I remember one time having a conversation with Styles. You know, I remember they had released some dunks, and you know, Styles was always a person, a very serious person, but very intelligent, and we just started talking. And first we started talking about sneakers, next thing you know, we talking about family, kids. And I'm like, wow, you know, Styles is super cool. I never got to kick it with him on this level. It was always, you know, Jada and Sheik. So seeing the human side of him, I'm like, yo, you know what? He don't take no shit. But if he let you in that bubble, he let you in the bubble. Like, you can have great conversation with him, you know? And like I say, these are the blessings of, like, the industry.
Right.
Like, you know, being able to have a lot of these people, first name basis, being able to speak when you need to speak. If you need to holler at them, it's like they recognize who you are. You ain't got to worry about, damn, you know, I work with him, but he don't know me if he see me in the street.
Right.
Nah, man, we have a camaraderie still.
Right. So that's great, man.
When you show this, it's like, these are your blessings that we blessed with. We meet incredible people. You know, even for Rob was a dude, a very incredible person. He done his dirt.
And we all human.
Yeah,
right.
but that's what I'm saying. But I can't judge you for something you did when you was a kid, not even really a teenager.
Right.
You just here trying to survive.
Right.
But you got your blessings, and when you got blessed, like, you know, the air talk, and it's like, and I hear the things that you do. Like, I met his baby moms at the funeral, and she was telling me some shit. I was like, damn, man, that's crazy. Like, I never hear the good things, but people always tell me, yo, that nigga used to rob people, he used to do this.
But let's hear some good, right. How about you? Do you have any good, do you remember good memories about Black Rob, some shows?
Not no shows, but, like, I can remember times, like, when I lived in the Bronx, Rob would pop up in my house, he'd come check me.
Okay.
And it's always great energy when I see him.
That's
you know,
good.
He's there. You know, I remember having a group, and they're like, yo, we need to get Rob on this. Let me ask him, yo, Rob, I need you to jump on this song. Yo, I'll be there tomorrow, family. And he's there, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why I say when you look at it, and I think sometimes we take a lot of this for granted. Because a lot of people are naturally good people, but one, I don't think we celebrate them enough. And number two, and it's a lot of us, but if we do have a celebration, it's like even if it becomes a big one,
Right.
where you invite a lot of people, maybe this could turn into something else.
Yeah.
Because it's like looking at it's the energy we all share, and it's like we didn't start out the same way, but we sure enough got the same energy.
Right.
You know, and all the people one person may fuck with, I may fuck with, so it's a lot of people who fuck with the same people. So, you know, it's celebration, man. It's like every day in life we should celebrate.
Right. Respect.
You know, no time for nothing else. But I say for me, it's been a blessing. Time after time, for me to meet my boy Lord Finesse, that was the first big blessing I was blessed with.
Okay, yeah, tell me about that. So when you met Lord Finesse, that's when you started producing more and more. You kind of gave it up, then you got a new machine and started producing more.
I was DJing for Finesse first.
Okay.
It used to be me, my man OG, Easy LP, Big L, Lord Finesse, and probably was a couple more people. So sometimes just getting, like, when you like, okay, I'm getting to know him, and we hanging out, and we seeing certain things, and we see how we all click. And I looked at it like, well, this is Ness crew. This ain't Show crew. Show got his boys he fuck with all the time. Diamond got niggas he fuck with all the time. So right now we rocking with Ness. And it was beautiful because when you start seeing, like, even being in the industry, people are like regular people. We did the same thing like if we was in the PJs on the stoop.
Right.
It's a lot of snapping. It's a lot of joke telling. A lot of laughing at each other. And when you have these times, these are the best times. And it showed me also between him and L, I say, all the nicest MCs have the best sense of humor. Like, even being around Kiss, it's the same thing. And I love him. Like, yo, you know what? We had so many good times, even with just L and Finesse, where it's like they had nothing to do with music. Which are the things that bond us together, because we would sit and we would just be laughing and joking, and sometimes we had something what we did when before cell phones were popular and you had the landline with the cords.
Right.
We would make our own party line. You know? So if I call Finesse would be like, yo, call L. Then he'd be like, yo, well, you got another line, call Mr. Walt. Mr. Walt will call somebody. It might be like 15 of us on the phone. Meanwhile, all these are people who were just starting off in the 90s.
Right.
So when you look at it, man, these times that we had and how we shared these things, even though we were just starting out in this, we didn't understand the blessings that we had meeting everybody and meeting great people who went on to do great things.
Right.
You know? And like I say, for that was amazing. By the time, you know, I got to the point where it's like my manager and my job was giving me a choice, you know, I had some money stacked, and my man OG, who I just mentioned, we went to Rogues and we bought SB 1200s and 950s. And
got busy.
Yeah, first beat I made, Diamond bought and put him in and put Sadat and Finesse on it.
That's the first beat you made?
Yeah.
So tell me about that. Listen, the first beat you made.
That's the first beat to come out.
Okay.
Now I made some other beats that I took on the Source Tour with me with Finesse, and I let OC hear. And some of them went on the album. It wasn't Time's Up, it was Let It Slide and a couple of other ones.
Okay.
But even with it, like, he took a liking to me and the music that I did also. And even when I did go see Diamond's like, yeah, you know, I'm doing my album, but I'm gonna put one more record on the beats. Like, yo, you got some beats? Yeah, let me play you something. Played him a joint. It was nice and soulful, and he liked it. So he's like, yo, you don't mind if I just put the string in this, right? And I was like, yo, go ahead. I'm just starting, so knock it out. Teach me something.
Right.
And that's what I felt. And he put that in there. When the record came out, it's for hip-hop dudes, it was a smash. And so for that to be my first record that comes out, the B-side of his shit, and it's like everybody's like, oh shit, yo, this shit is tough.
Right.
It was a mixed show favorite, and, you know, I started being able to, you know, to get my ways around. And after that record, I'm not going to lie, almost everything was just a blur. Because it's like, through the blessing of Diamond and working with Diamond, I opened up a lot of doors.
Right.
And through Finesse being my man, my right-hand man, that opened up doors too. Like, he was the one who introduced me to Biggie.
Okay.
At Down with the King video shoot, because he's like, yo, get dressed. Like, you know, get down here. We're going to go to, you know, Down with the King video shoot. All right, cool. So we go there. Me, him, and LP, I believe. I think it was us three, or either him or my man OG. And we go to the video. That's the first time I met Biggie. And then, even after that, like, I had this songs for Tone from Trackmasters, Red Hot Love a Tone.
Right.
and Big was on one of them. So before Big even finished his album, like we've been in Biggie sessions. Me and my man OG, we used to go to Biggie crib and hang out. And he would play us what he had. He'd play us the beats, and like I'm not even saying like, yo, this is what influences you. You need a stronger influence. Maybe you should get the dudes who came out the same day as them, Tribe Called Quest.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe look at their friends.
Maybe look deeper than just the one, right?
Right, because you looking at the hard beats and it's like, oh, you know, and they got the aggression and everything. Nah, you gotta look and see what made the females like it. Females love Tribe. So when it's the music business, you want to sell records, you need to have a marker of something that's an idea where it's like, yeah, I like their music, it has a feeling, the females like it. You know what I'm saying? Not just the females, but it's older people who like it.
Right.
Everybody loves it, so who don't want to make records that everybody love?
Right.
And, you know, for me, this was part of my teaching and also my food. You know, like when I first heard Midnight Marauders, I'm like, yo, it was like, that's all I played.
Right.
I wasn't playing nothing else, you know, so I just look, I think it's deeper when you studying what you want to do, where you want to be, and it's like to get your place, who you want to be, you have to have some people who will inspire you to be who you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Great, man. Let me ask you, so, you know, going with that, let's talk about your process. So back then, you're working with all these artists. What was your process with making your beats? Was it like just find different sounds and put them together, or would you think of different artists and go, okay, this I kind of have it in my mind? What was your process?
Well, for me, I think a lot of times because the thing in the 90s was, you know, and Ghost said this on the Ray album, I don't want nobody sounding like me on no record. So we would always look for samples that were different and sounded nothing like somebody else's.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when people were like, wow, yo, this Biggie record you did is incredible. It don't sound like nothing else out.
Mm-hmm.
Credit Ghostface for that because he's the one who put that in my head.
Okay, salute.
You know?
Salute.
And being different, that's how you can also, you know, make your own mark.
Right.
Because if someone has the beat, be like, yo, who did that? That beat is crazy. Yo, you did that? Yo, I need something like that. And that's what artists always say.
Right.
So when they hear whoa, they be like, oh, who, that's you? Yo, damn, everything you're doing, it sounds different. Yo, I need you to lace me. I could give you something, but you have to have the vision to see it or what it could be. And that's the beauty of when you work with an artist.
Right.
You know, like I've had that whoa beat, and it's like it's been quite a few artists turn it down.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So it wasn't made for him. You just had the beat, and it kind of cycled around. Nobody really picked it up.
Yeah, it cycled around first, and it's like then I got a call. They was like, "Yo, come through. We need a single for Rob." So I came through with some beats, and his manager Shaq, he was like, "Yo, you played the beats." He's like, "Yo, you played one beat. That's ridiculous, man. They ain't take no beats." I was like, "Nah." He's like, "Yo, put that back in." He was like, "Not that one. It was one after." He's like, "Yo, I need that. I'm gonna play him this right here." And I got it for him. They went in the MIDI room, and they put the beat on the CD for him, and I think it was a day or two the song was done. You know, because when I see him, like, and this is the words that I get from most artists. Wait till you hear what I wrote to your beat. And like my homie, he was with me. He was like, "Yo, B, this gonna be a huge record. You don't think so?" I was like, "It's cool." He's like, "You don't think so?" I was like, "It's cool." I was like, "Yo, you know, I don't know. I can't tell the future." He's like, "Yo, watch. You'll see."
Did you, so like you said with that one, it's like, oh, you never know. Do you ever feel like, okay, this record's gonna go? Have you ever had that feeling for a particular song? Okay, I produced that. I think that's gonna be.
Nah, not really.
It's always like, well, I can't tell the future.
I can't tell the future. And
right.
It's like the one thing I say. I never been a cocky person, but I see how it is when people get to when some of the stuff they hear. So
right.
It'd be some records I've done and they'd be like, "Yo, this is crazy. I need a joint like this." And yo, this one goes, and like, all right, cool. Like I would never know that like Fast Life with Nas and G-Rap would still be a record that's transcended through generations of hip hop fans.
Right.
So I can't tell the future, but the one thing I know is like I must have a special ability with making records to make it transcend through generations. You know? So, and I like it for me because it's like I'm not cocky with it. Right. I'm thankful more than anything else. I don't look and say, "Hey, you know, I made the best records ever." I'm happy that people liked it. Yo, that's a blessing because they don't have to like it.
Right.
You know?
having produced music for over 20 years. That's about 20 years, almost 20 years, right? Yeah. From East Coast to West Coast. I was doing some research, saw there was a couple game songs.
Yeah.
Was it Lean With It, Rock With It from the South? Did you have some credit on the Lean With It, Rock With It?
Nah,
I seen on your credit.
I work with Player Circle.
Player Circle. You've had credits all over, and those are not just East Coast vibes or West Coast vibes. It's different kind of vibes. How do you come up with that, or do you find it easy to do? Okay, East Coast, no problem, I'll give you this vibe. Or down south, no problem, I'll give you this vibe. Like, how do you find the inspiration to do that type of thing?
I think it's just the things that I sample. For me, it's like I'm a music lover, and I can honestly say I remember even being down there and playing it. Like my man Jeff Dixon, he's like, yo, you know, we doing a big thing with them. We bring some producers down. I want to bring you down too.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yo, just bring your beats. Like, I remember Rook from Justice League was there. Justice League was there, and it's like they set the whole place on fire because they had the whole crew.
Right.
And I was like, wow, these
large
kids
group, right?
Yeah. So even then, it's like I remember I was in the studio with 2 Chainz, and he was like, yo, play me some beats, man. And I played him some beats, and the ones I played him ended up being the ones that they vocaled on the DTP album, and their first single from the album they had on DTP.
That's what's up.
With Ludacris. So I look at it, and it's like, I know, like, there's certain things that I can do, and it's like, I know I do better than a lot of people, but I know where my place is, and it's like, I just look now and be like, damn, you know what? I bet I could get right back in that same slot next to him if I can play him what I have.
Right.
You know? Because I know I could give him what he's missing, or what's missing that he's not hearing from everybody else.
Right. There's something you can add to it that hasn't been added yet. It's like, no, let me put my touch on it.
Yeah, it's like, I look for things, and I try to do things that are different than everybody else. Because of the time where my career was birthed.
Mm-hmm.
Because you couldn't come out, even though you had like How I Could Just Kill a Man and Soul Clap, the same 2 samples, both the different type of records, but if a person knew that if I sampled something and I knew that somebody else sampled it, I wouldn't put that record on my album.
Right.
Because I'm like, yeah, I don't want that shit. That shit's worthless to me now.
Right.
So when you look at these things, it's like your style and what you do is what sets you apart from people.
Mm-hmm.
And people would take pride in that because your album is your art. So when you're doing your art, that's like if you do graffiti, you know, after you finish your piece, it's like you want to make sure if it's on a 6th line, you're like, okay, cool, I'm gonna sit in 125th or 110, and whenever these trains come by, I want to see what my shit look like when it's running through the middle track. And it's like, and see who's there. And it's like you'll be there. People might not know it's you, but they'll be honoring it and praising it when it come by, when it stop, and you'll be like, yeah, that's me, you know. And
right.
It's the same thing musically.
Right.
Like, it's not just because it's like I know some dudes. It's like I seen a kid, not seen him, but it's like he hit me up. He was like, yo, you know, what's the game sample? I want to use the same sample. And in my mind, it baffled me because I was like, why would you want to use a sample that I use? You know. But they do it, and it's like a lot of times they don't look for the sample. They sample it and then they try to clear it through like Game or Faith, whatever.
Right.
And I just be like, all right, cool, that's what it is. You can do that, you know. Knock yourself out.
Right. I mean, you know, it's so different now where it's like you said, digging in the crates, you actually had to be physical and find something or have a knowledge. Okay, let me look in funk, let me look in disco, let me look in blues. Now we got technology kind of steps in.
It still ain't the same.
It's still like the same.
They don't have the holy grails.
Oh, no, yeah.
Because that's what it is. It's like when you look at things, you want the holy grail. It's like even then when we were younger, like nowadays, like even with sneakers, everybody about sneakers, they'd be like, oh, I like those right there. I'm going to cop the same shit and wear it the same way.
Right. It's like...
It wasn't like that before.
Right.
You had your style or you was known for something. You know, yo, I just went and bought this shit called the North Face. Nobody had it.
Right.
But you walk in Skate Key and you got the North Face and people are like, yo, what's that? Yeah, that's a North Face. That shit $550 and then 10 trails.
Clean, right.
So, you know, you would be known for that, or you known for having things that people don't usually have.
Right.
Or like they say, you know, what the white people might have, because they don't sell that on the 125th. They don't sell that on the 149th.
And that's why I think we look at it, because you have to leave for them to go get. You have to leave home to...
Yeah,
right.
You have to find your place in the world. And it's like, with the culture, and even in life, it's things that are out there that we don't go to these foreign places, but we learn these things and we're like, yo, you know what? Like how Jay discovered the first dude with the iceberg.
Right.
Yo, that's fly right there. I like that. Where could I get that from?
Right.
Oh, they sell that right downtown at Atrium. You know, so you travel down to Atrium and see what you could get. They only got maybe 1 or 2 pieces of each size, and you'll get what you can. And it's like, because nobody else is really gonna have it.
Right.
If they got 2 pieces, like, yo, if you got 1, that means it's only 1 more person who might be from New York walking around with it.
Right.
So this is even in hip hop what we cherish, because it's like, yo, I got this. This is mine. It got my name on it.
Right.
Because the DJs would pay breaks in the park jams, and you know, just so they could get to another level, because people get it fucked up. That's why a lot of artists, they want to work with you. They want to go to that next level. They want to be on that plane that you've been on.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be on a plane where it's like they can walk in a room and Esco know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Where, you know, Jay-Z know who they are. Large Professor know who they are. You know, even, you know, Lord Finesse and Showbiz, Diamond D. They know who you are, and they like, oh, wow, you remind me of Big L, or, yo, you got real dope skills. And it's like, you know, they want that. People, a lot of people, they do want to achieve.
Mm.
And there are some who want to achieve but don't know what it takes.
Right.
Because within our time, and it's like, what we have, where we like, yo, you know what, this is what it takes for us to do this.
Mm.
You know, like, this is our etiquette. So when you just sound like everything else, and it's like, and you have the floor to be in a room with someone who can take you to another level, just because when they see his name on the record,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to peep it out. So you have to take full advantage of that.
Right.
And not walk in like you know everything.
Dropping gems, man. Let me ask you as a producer, 2 things, because there might be some producers watching. What would you tell producers, right? What's the one thing you would tell a producer, right, up and coming? And then, do you feel like producers get enough respect in general?
I don't think producers get enough credit or respect. Because I'm going to be honest, with some of the young dudes, there are a lot of young dudes who are talented, who can also play instruments and do a lot of other things. They make sound packs, they do different things, but people look at them and be like, yo, beat maker, it's a dime a dozen. It's like, it's not. The ones who have a good ear for samples, and the ones who can play intricately everything that you might not know, which goes into making a hot song or a dope beat, you couldn't tell a beat maker from a producer, so it's your fault, not theirs.
Right.
So you should give them enough credit, and you won't understand it until they have that big record with like a DJ Khaled, Jay-Z, or Kendrick or somebody else, and they like, yo, I want 60 grand a track, and you be like,
now you,
nigga, I remember you was charging 600.
Right.
You know. So I think what falls in line is people have to be able to recognize the talent. You know.
100.
And talent is everything. Talent will get you there, even if you're aspiring, even to be a person that aspire. Recognize the hard work, the consistency, the person who puts in the long hours. Because eventually they'll get better, they're not going to get worse.
Right. Listen, you consistent, right? They told me, I actually went to audio school, they told us, hey, 100,000 hours makes you a master at something. So that's a fact. 100,000 hours is not going to make you no worse.
Yeah, you're going to get better, because whatever you're doing as you go along, if you're shooting shots in the gym, if you shot 1,000 shots a day, pretty soon them shots are going to be falling like Steph Curry.
Right.
And you're going to be hitting from damn near mid-court like, you know, Dame Lillard.
Right.
You know?
Water, exactly.
So you have to look, and it's like, the time you're putting in is to improve.
Right.
Because you're going to look, and it's like, you're going to make the adjustments to what you feel you need to make it for.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, you know what, they didn't like this. Let me kind of tighten this up a little. Let me make sure my snares is knocking, and let me make sure they're in key with the music. And when you start recognizing these things yourself and you're going on, your music becomes more beautiful.
Right.
And it resonates more with people, and it's like, and some people, they don't see these things or understand, but to the consumer, they know what's rocking when they hear it.
Right.
So when we used to do that and be like, people would be like, man, you used to stay in the studio and spend like 3 hours on one snare. All right, now this record I spent 3 hours on, it's been going 20-something years.
Right. Respect.
It's a reason why these things happen.
Right.
So we understand certain things from our POV, because when it comes to it, it's not just for us. The music is for the people. So if I make beats, I'm not making beats for me. It's like I'm making it for the consumer and the people who could be potential listeners, so they can enjoy it. Because it's people who like to hear. It's like the consumers are so diverse now. Where it's like some people just want to hear the instrumentals.
Right.
Some people want to hear just like beat tapes, what you probably might be shopping. Some people want to hear an album. They want to hear if you did a project with somebody. So you have to look, and we have to understand, like, yo, you know, I don't make beats for me. It's like, it's the same thing.
Right.
You're making beats for this demographics right here.
Right.
If it's 2,000 people, you want to make sure all 2,000 is rocking, and if it leaks over into another demographics, that they're pleased also.
Right. That was a great key. Like you said, know the demographic, know who you're producing your work for, especially as a producer. Listen, gems on gems. One last question to close this out. Like you said, beat tapes. A lot of people might just want to hear a vibe, an instrumental. You've been putting out some beat tapes, as well as right.
I did it for MCs. Like the pandemic came, and I was like, yo, you know what? People want to rap. Yeah.
Got you. Right. You say, listen, you bless it all day.
And I think, like I say, and it becomes like if they become fans, that's cool. But it's still part of giving back.
Right.
I'm not saying you could go and sell it, but it's like, hey, if you want something to exercise,
quick little freestyle,
kick your little freestyles.
Yeah.
If you want to put it on a mixtape and you can sit around, go ahead, do your thing. And that's what it is. So sometimes it's like, yo, take care of people, people take care of you.
Right.
You know, and I firmly believe that.
Listen, man, I appreciate you. I feel good just spending this time with you because it's genuine. Your energy is genuine. To get more of a background on where you came from, to know you from Harlem, like I'm from Harlem, I feel like it's a brother.
But I don't really say that. I be like, I'm from the Bronx.
Hey, now listen, I'm claiming them. They ask me, yo, Buckwild from Harlem. Just like Tupac from Harlem. That's why I say, yo, Tupac from 115 type shit. But I appreciate you.
That's like my whole family went right across Antonia.
Listen, you right by the way, fam.
My aunt was on 5th Avenue. We was on St. Nick. The other aunt is from 7th Avenue. And then my uncle, he was in Foster.
Okay. Listen, you right by the way,
and Polo Grounds. My other cousin, he's from Polo Grounds.
Right, okay.
So I look, it's like, you know, that's our, you know, when they moved to New York from the South, that's our lineage where everybody's from, like, that belt.
Right.
So everybody was kind of in the same area, and it's like, you know, it's dope, you know. I used to always spend time in Harlem, but I ain't gonna lie, my heart is in the Bronx because of how I grew up. And the Bronx is very cultured.
It is.
And looking, like, the one thing, you know, learning a lot, rhythmic and stuff like that from, you know, the Spanish music.
Yeah.
Like, I used to hear Spanish music out my window all the time from the little club that was like 2 doors down from my building. It taught me certain things, and it's like, you know, even food-wise, everything is like, it's different, and it's like, Latin people have a different type of energy that we don't have, and they have a different type of hospitality. So even like my homie, like walking into his house, every day I walked in his house, hey, you want to eat?
Okay, well, it is. You can play. Like you said, man, you know what's so great about that? To be around more than one culture, more than one thing. You develop different skills. You take on the best of everything. So that's okay.
And you learn about different nationalities and different people and how can I say? How to interact with people. Yeah. How they may act, what they may like, you know.
Which is so important.
What you have that they might like.
Right.
And which is very important too. So and especially like I said before, how to treat them. That respect level. Because everyone has a different level of respect. And the one thing I'm going to say too, like even, I know most Latin people, they take pride in a lot of things that we don't. And for them making it in America, like, you know, and having what, you know, unless you're from the Bronx and know these words, Puerto Rican pride. Right. They have their own parade. Right. We don't have that. And they celebrate when they have the parade in Spanish Harlem. And you know, Rob's from Spanish Harlem. Right. 2nd Avenue, and Lexington, all those avenues over there, ever since I've known, has been lit. So you look and you see, we don't even have the parade that they would do in Harlem isn't even as big as that parade. Not at all. And to look, it's like, sometimes being there, like for me to learn something, if we all paid attention to that, we can learn something. How do we need to interact with each other? How do we, like, what black pride, what that should be. You know, and with pop people, they learn that. That's why the Panthers took care of their community. That's right. You know, when we look at it, we always want to downplay, and we want to kick the next person that's down so we can be the only man standing. Right. But that's why I say, when you start, so if I have a little and I give a little, and we all kind of do the same thing, that makes us stronger. That's right. If everybody's helping to push forward, that's right. Listen, man. It will. And I know this because it's people, like I said, it's people I know who open the door and sacrifice their time to help me. Like my man, Chili D, like he was down in Syndicate, that's Finesse and showing them, man. And he would tell me like, yo, whatever you need to learn about this 1200, you know, just call me.
The other guys.